Hello, good evening, and welcome to another live edition of the CantinaMX Podcast. Glad you're joining with us. Glad you're with us this evening. My name is John Jagu. It's halftime right now between Chivas and Atlas, so we thought this would be a good time for us to jump into this podcast. I was hoping that we were going to come on a little earlier, but due to circumstances beyond our control, it was not able to happen until about an hour later. But we do apologize for that, but we're glad that you're with us this evening. We do have, again, a distinguished panel of guests. I have a lot to get to with games yesterday, games today, games this weekend, lists that are probably going to have to start coming out. A lot of things to talk about. So let's jump right in to our panel of guests. We have with us over in Kyle, Texas, we have Albert El Chiquis Campa. Albert, how are you?
Hey, what's up? Doing good, everybody.
So you're officially a neutral, as am I. So as a neutral, how do you approach the Liguilla when you don't really have anybody to pull for? Who did you pull for one team? How do you do it?
It's circumstances and the next level. Hay niveles. The next level of gato. So Tigres is who I'm hoping.
So Tigres is your gallo. That's your horse.
Not just with my heart, but also with my mind. So I think that, like you guys have been talking, the momentum that they've had coming in is as shown yesterday.
Oh yeah, and how. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But let's keep going down the list. Also in California, actually, this is. Once again, we have an even split between Calis and Tejanos, so that's good for us tonight. But over in California, we have in Escondido, Daniel Preciado. Daniel, just want to make sure you're doing okay. We were debating calling you last night. It was pretty rough for your Santos. Not unexpected at all.
Not expected. Oh, well, actually, you know what? I'm not totally surprised. I thought the first leg was going to be the tougher of the two, and just with the two, that last game cost us pretty heavily.
Right.
Losing Giannini, arguably the best player of the year, so for the team. Losing the engine,
the playmaker.
Losing the engine, Gael Sandoval. That,
in his red card was I didn't see Giannini's, but Gael's red card. He was not maliciously trying to, to me, a red card is when you're going in and you're not going for the ball, you're going for the dude's leg.
Yeah, and he was pretty upset about it. You can see he's a kid, and he was pretty, you can see, he wasn't trying to do that, trying to get hhimself sent off. So there was that. Actually, Giannini's red, I thought, was a bit harsh also. But that's them's the breaks. So
wait, 2 red cards?
Yeah, this was in the previous game, Sunday, actually against Toluca, and so these guys were unavailable for them for the first leg because they had red cards. They had to sit it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and seeing as how the team's already thin from a few of the kids with the U20s,
right?
Oh, damn.
I kind of figured it would be a tough game. I was hoping maybe they'd eke out a win.
And this is the kind of Santos insight that you just don't get anywhere else.
You really don't.
Anywhere else.
Because nobody talks about them.
And Dan was saying he did not offer anything to the podcast. They're selling themselves short.
Yeah.
But all those things considered, I knew it was going to be a rough first leg. The series is over. You lose 4-1 at home. There's slim to no chance that they're going to come back. So I'm not at least he took them to the Liguilla.
Now they can play the game with absolutely nothing to lose. And
one more thing, guys. They wanted to.
Joel Aceves joins us from Los Angeles. Go ahead, Joel.
Oh, this is live.
Yes, we're live.
I thought we were.
No, we are live. That little yellow button on your screen says we're live.
Oh snap! Okay. No. One of the main concerns for Santos was to get. They were dropping in the relegation zone, and they wanted to get as far away from possible. So that's behind them now.
It was a
Well,
slight concern. It
yes
was a
and
slight
no,
concern.
yes. I hope you haven't seen the porcentajes for next season yet, Dan.
Well, it's kind of hard because I'm not sure if they really show you. You kind of have to do your own math at this point. So I haven't.
Well, it's it's reasonably comfortable, but it's inside 20 points. So,
So it'll probably be a slight concern, but I think right now the team needs to be looking forward. They can't be concerned with relegation. I don't.
But the reality for Santos though is they have a bright future. They have a bright future.
One of the younger teams. So yeah, I'm actually quite disappointed.
I believe it is the youngest team. Dan.
Is it? I'm not.
And they have the right
Yeah.
coaching staff. I mean, seriously,
So, yeah,
who would you rather learn free kicks from? Other than Benjamin Galindo, who in my opinion is the greatest Mexican free kick taker in history. I don't know if y'all agree with me or not. I don't know if you folks out there listening at home, if you disagree with me, let me know. But I think I'll say it again, Benjamin, the greatest Mexican free kick artist in history.
Yeah,
Well, see,
it's
that was
become-
another thing that they missed out too. I mean, Gael is he takes most of the free kicks. So
And yet set pieces were so big because of the guys you have that can get those. And they had the worst part about it, Dan, is that it's not like they didn't have chances. I mean, they had chances.
and that's one thing that we've mentioned on the show a few times. That they're lacking goals. So especially in that first half, they could have been a completely different game had any of those chances gone in.
Right, but
Well-
the real killer, and I'll let the Joel hop in here in a second, was when they get the equalizer and what, like, not 10 seconds. I mean, seriously, like on the next the next time they roll the ball, they just go right down the field and score. That would be just the biggest. That just sucked, and it totally took the air out of them, and then they were done after that. They didn't have the experience to get over something like
And that's
that.
what I'm gonna say. That's one of the disadvantages of having a young team is that when they do hit adversity, sometimes they can get in their own heads and kind of just.
Right. And shame on you and on you and me, Joel, for in our last column that we wrote together. We totally didn't mention Toluca once. They're going through their centenario. They're traditionally just a super strong.
I did
team.
mention that. I did mention the centenario celebration.
But they're not
Okay.
going to win anything, though. I don't think either of these teams are.
Well,
I
you're
think there's one team that's clearly distinguished themselves from the rest.
It's fun to watch them play, isn't it?
It's just it's pretty telling. I think at this point, like, you see them and you're like, man, like, everybody had said it too. If they get in, that's going to be the last team you want to play, and it's panning out to be that way.
Yeah, and of course we're talking about Tigres and their 4-1 win over Monterrey last night, where it was.
And Dueñas, what an amazing performance.
He played really well. He got 2 goals. Gignac got the other 2, and he was just back and forth. He earned himself at least the look to see if he can fit in the plans in Russia, but he will definitely play the goal. In fact, they should give him the Gold Cup and see what he can do with it. Because he had a really, really, really good. He's had a great season, actually. He's been one of Tigres' better players. He's a gamer. Remember, he was the one that got the equalizer against them.
I should have put money on my pick, man.
Minute.
Too bad we didn't put any money on our preseason picks.
I can't even ever imagine. Did you pick Tigres?
Yeah, I did.
Wow. I'm gonna have to go back to the tape and see who I know that Joel picked Chivas. Big surprise.
Well,
That was a big surprise, actually.
I picked Chivas at the start of the
That's
season.
what we're talking about at the start of the season.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure that I faithfully chose Pumas as one should now.
Well, if Chivas didn't have the injuries, would you still pick them, Juan? If they didn't have any injuries?
Yes. No, yeah. See,
So that's the main factor.
I think it's kind of hard to say, though, because
not reading their articles.
assuming that they weren't struck by the with the injuries, we're assuming that they would have continued to play well. So I don't know if it's all injuries that has cost them their form, but all of them have struggled considerably. Most of them, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say one thing I was talking with John earlier was how Chivas was doing changes, structural changes, and they got rid of a lot of the coaching staff. They also got rid of some of the physiotherapists.
Is it true,
Team
Joel,
doctor and all
that they're thinking about bringing in as a special consultant?
Gente?
Yeah.
I think so.
No. Okay. You sure?
Positive.
Well, what they wow. They should trot him out before every game and have him do this before every game.
At least during playoffs.
Yeah.
No, but that many injuries, it could be through the training they're messing up, or whoever they have.
Do they have a group of
the
mariachis?
injuries? What?
Do they have a group of mariachis that play Guadalajara before a game at Chivas?
I don't know, John. Yes.
We need to find this out. And the fact that if it doesn't happen is
Can't you guys ask
entire,
Tom? Tom would know, wouldn't he?
Yes,
he should. Joel, I'm disappointed that you don't know.
I know. It's a bad mark on my favorite.
I always thought that I had to play this for you, Joel. When you come on, I think that I'm gonna have to punish you for a week and play this for you. for not knowing about that. So actually, Joel, I can punish you even more. I can play this for you.
No, I don't think that's punishing me.
I'm getting excited.
That was the Transformers version, Joel.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
That's when they fight Unicron. He's a floating head now.
Okay, I think
Joel likes to show everybody how much of a ladies' man he was in high school.
That's right.
Basement dwelling neck beard.
Well, you're young, son, because that stuff was out when I was. So you had to be like 9, 10, 11 years old when all the Transformers stuff hit.
Yeah, but I mean,
man, as a kid, oh my God, that would have just been incredible.
Oh, it was good, John.
I'm sure.
No, but I got to
young bucks.
I got to watch. I watched even like I don't know. Some of you guys remember they even had like the movie where like 5 minutes in they killed Duke. Flechazo to the chest. You guys didn't see that?
No.
I don't recall the premise of the movie. I do remember watching it, but I don't recall the premise. It's been too long.
They made Cobra La. They got the DNAs from the historical bad guys like Dracula and
What
Hitler
movie is
and all
this?
that. This is a G.I. Joe movie, yeah.
See, now I'm starting to actually. I'm gonna have to start punishing you some more, Joel, if we're gonna start bringing.
The Cobra La boots. They make like this Serpentor boots. Cobra Commander, and he just takes over.
At least we're not talking He-Man.
I watched that too, man.
Well, come on, don't act like
they had a
you
movie
watched
with Shira.
This is almost as bad as like the 5th level Chivas talk when you and the coach get going.
Oh man!
Now, if you want to talk cartoon, I can talk. Warner Brothers cartoons till the cows come home. But
that doesn't really capture the the geeks. Like the geeks are into like
Well, let me ask you all this: did y'all ever see the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon ever?
I did. Yes, I did, sir.
Yeah.
That's the little kids that go to the
The
they go to a theme park. They get on the
Yeah.
roller coaster, and they end up.
That's
Not only
right.
did I see that cartoon, John, I actually played the actual dice game.
Well, who didn't?
A bunch of people did it.
Chickies?
Not around here, man.
Chickies?
Yeah, I never played.
I grew up playing a little bit.
People getting laid for playing it, John.
Well, you can speak for yourself.
Oh,
You're like, dude.
I don't
used
know,
to bag all
John.
kinds of chicks when I used to do some
That was-
Dungeons and
Well, I mean,
Dragons,
it's not like
bro.
I was. Yeah, it's not
He was
like I
playing
was.
advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
It's not like I played off, but I did play. It was fun. That's why
Yeah,
I
did you
always
play
say that.
like once a month or did you
No,
play
I play
daily?
I play like once a year.
No, I play daily, John. Come on.
No, well, I did like a campaign once a year. I mean, yeah, because after that, you just it was fun.
Oh
It was
no,
enough.
man. My campaign was ongoing like through the whole high school.
It was like a soap opera, never ending.
Well, I mean, characters would die, so you had to start a new one
Right.
most of the time. But
Well, see, that's why I always talk about Liguilla MX when you have a 3-game winning streak. It's like your character in Dungeons and Dragons. They can reclaim they can regenerate the hit points a lot faster than they normally would be able to.
Nice
So-
segue.
Absolutely. No, that's why it brings it's why we call.
I was about to start talking about Voltron and ask him,
no,
like,
let's not have any of that. It's
Oh.
like Vucetich.
if you want to get John hooked, you have to talk Robotech.
oh
That's
my
probably his
God, are
thing.
you serious?
Talk what? See, I don't even know what you're talking about. See now,
Robotech was like, at least in my neighborhood, only the poor kids, the less fortunate kids would go with the GoBots and Robotech. And
Robotech was expensive, dude. Come on.
well, I guess for us
GoBots,
kids, it was all about the Transformers, man.
no,
Transformers,
Robotech was more out there, dude.
GoBots is legit, man. Transformers and GoBots were my go-to.
my parents actually for Christmas, I had asked for like a CD player or something, like, because it was just when they just started coming out in the mid to late '80s. So they got me a CD player that was a Transformer, and that was my.
Oh, that's
Nice.
pretty cool.
John was the coolest kid in the block, huh?
I thought it was pretty funny.
I held on to tapes for as long as I possibly could. I kept thinking they were going to come back or they were going to stay, and
You had your tapes.
I used to love making tapes.
tapes, yeah, man, tapes,
Oh.
making mixtapes. I refused to buy CDs. I was
Did
like,
you
this
guys-
is just a fad.
Did you guys ever do that thing where it's like get like 12 tapes for 1 penny, and then they'll sell them to
Columbia
you?
House.
Columbia House.
And I don't think no one would ever pay.
I think every kid ran a small little racket of selling CDs for a couple bucks to make a. Yeah,
No, I got the tapes though. I got to do it when it was tapes. But you send like a penny, but then when they try to, then you have to buy like 5 or I don't know, at regular price.
throughout from
No
the
one-
year. Yeah,
no-
it was Columbia
one
House
would
and
ever buy
BMG.
Yeah, no one would ever buy 'em.
And then you don't pay, and they send you the disc, and because you forgot to send it, and you get like this terrible
I think that's how I got
Yeah.
Nevermind.
Nirvana.
Yeah, I think that's how I purchased Nevermind or didn't
Wow.
purchase.
Well, how old were you? You must have been like 13 when Nevermind came out.
Yeah, that's how I was.
So what kind of effect did it
12.
have on you?
Effect?
Yeah. Did it change your life?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I couldn't understand what the hell he was talking about. I was a kid, and his lyrics aren't exactly easy to. His voice wasn't easy to figure out. But
Right.
from a music standpoint, which I was more into,
Right.
pretty blown away. Pretty blown away. I had never heard anything remotely close to it, and I was just I was all a super Hesher kid into Metallica and Slayer.
Right.
So, and I was closet fan of Depeche Mode and the Smiths. I was
Classic.
Closet, yeah, I was closet fan because I was ashamed because I was all into heavy metal and I didn't want to admit that
Like joterias.
I sing your life. So,
That's
but yeah, man.
That's interesting.
And I did manage to watch him like a couple months before he offed himself. So at least I get to say I saw them live once.
I always thought that what made Nirvana such a great band was that yes, they had but they wrote really good pop songs just in that style. I mean, because their songs had hooks. They were, whether it was the melody or one of his lyrics. I mean, they knew it was good stuff.
And I don't think you were typically used to hearing anything remotely punk that was that well produced.
Right.
Yeah, no, they did.
No, it was a sea change. There's no question. I mean, it changed. It was the Ziggy Stardust of that decade.
On some level, I think they almost ruined alternative music. As great as they were, there was just a ton of horrible music that came out after that.
Well, Pearl Jam came out after that, and they were, kind of like but they just ended up getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I watched. It was actually pretty cool. I don't know if y'all saw it, but David Letterman, who again is like one of them. When I think of people that have influenced my, life or sense of humor, whatever it is, David Letterman is easily, in the top two practically. It would be them and Monty Python, but. Much more him than anyone else, and it was hilarious. It was so well done. It was so what he said. It was actually really touching too. And you forget that he was a human because he did all that stuff for so many years. But I do digress. Let's talk Tigres, gentlemen, as we should now.
Wait, I wasn't done with Chivas though. You sort of hijacked it with.
Well, you hijacked it by bringing up the Transformers, Joel. It's because you played this song. It's because
we're gonna have to go back to the tape to figure out who caused all this.
John did. He
it's because I was punishing you. Yeah. So what I should do, Joel, is play this.
That wasn't punishing me though. You
got the touch.
That's not punishing me.
You got the power.
Michael Bay is punishing me.
Can we make that our theme song?
I don't know.
I mean,
but we can certainly make it. We can certainly make it Joel's theme song,
or at least just get it.
Let me ask you this, Joel.
Yes.
Moving forward, when we introduce you at the beginning, would you like to be introduced with, or
No,
I'll leave it up to you.
I'll take Marky Mark.
Wow. Oh, you take Marky Mark. So
he wants Marky Mark's version.
Marky Mark's from Boogie Nights.
Oh, okay. So you want this one?
You got the touch.
You
got the power.
The recordings are theirs.
There is a Jimmy Kimmel episode where when he is introduced to the and they play a little music when they walk out. They played that song and he went and sang it with the band. and he sang it really badly, like he did in Boogie Nights. It was hilarious.
I can't imagine how you get through that take with a straight face. That must have taken so many tries to get that, without somebody just breaking into laughter.
That is such a great movie. That is. I don't know if y'all have movies that if it's on, if you're flipping and you hit it, it's like, all right, I'm done. I know what I'm doing for the next hour and a half or whatever it is. But Boogie Nights is definitely one of those movies for me. But back to, so you're going to finish up with Chivas before we get...
they're playing right now. They're losing 1-0. They're playing at their old home, the Jalisco.
But you would take a 1-0 at this point, wouldn't you, Joel?
I would, but John, something I've been talking about was how Chivas has struggled a lot to win at the Chivas Stadium. And I think
They're
right now,
struggling to score.
I believe no. Well, this is their 5th game overall where they haven't scored on the run of play. The last goal they scored was off a penalty. So we're talking about a team that hasn't scored in like over a month.
Well,
So-
that is a problem. It's hard. It's hard to win games, Joel, when you don't score. I'm not gonna lie. It is
I do
an important
I do
step.
think, yeah, it's something that hasn't been talked about, and it could be biting Chivas in the ass. Was like at the start of the year, I think it was late last year, I believe, or at the start of this year when they were doing all these cuts. They were like firing all this. They were firing all the different people, like getting rid of coaches and youth coaches and
So who is to blame for Chivas
Doctors.
injury rash?
see, I can't without knowing. I'll have to consult.
Who do you point the
know?
finger? Okay, put on your Chivas tinfoil hat and tell us who's to blame for.
Oh man, I don't need my hat for that. I would just say you gotta whoever approve all these cuts, because they're probably trying to save money because they were all sinking it into the Chivas TV.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, I guess they needed to save money somewhere somehow. But for all these players to just be dropping like flies or not recovering, I think
Now,
that's part of it.
Are the injuries muscular or are they, like trauma
No.
injuries?
No, I mean that many players. It's a lot of it's like muscular stuff.
Well, it sounds like they need to bring in some. Maybe their new nutritionist put them on a very strict torta ahogada diet.
And they gave Almeida like all these duties now that he has. Like he's the GM and he's in charge of all these things where before he was just the coach. So I mean he's
So
he's
you don't think it's tortas ahogadas then?
nah,
No.
it's that could be I would that's something I guess I'm gonna talk with. I try to talk with Tommy, hit him up about that, since
About
he's
the
over
torta
there.
ahogada diet? You know what's going to happen?
No,
Juan?
just the injuries,
And
just the
this-
injuries overall.
You know who's gonna carry him to the promised land if it happens, and it'll be sweet vindication for you when it does.
Wait, what
Is
are
is your boy is going to be the hero?
you lost me, John.
Your boy's going to be the hero, and he's gonna.
When you say his boy, all I think is Chepo.
Yeah.
No.
I'm
Well,
thinking the same.
there's.
Oh,
that
you mean
part.
Fierro? You mean
Yeah.
Fierro? He's well, look, he's playing right now, so
I know. That's what I'm saying. I think that people need to tune in and see what Fierro does.
So who's even injured? Because this Chivas team still looks stacked. There's Chelfis, Hierro.
They have let's see. So Pizarro's out.
El Conejo.
Venezuela's out. Saldivar's out. Kite Pereira left in this game.
Alanis wasn't Alanis out too.
He's actually back.
Yeah, he's in there with the mask.
He's back. Oh, so he's at like 75%.
Yeah. He should be all right, though, because Guido Pizarro had the mask for one game or two, I think, and then he was just with a bandage yesterday.
Hey, that could have been a penalty on Fierro right now.
It wasn't a penalty. Relax. Relax.
There was slight contact.
He didn't sell it well enough.
You know who sold it real good? Nahuel. We'll get into that, but Nahuel, Metal. Shout out to Metalero. He was arguing with me about Nahuel and his antics that he did today.
Oh yeah.
I actually like Nahuel, and even though he was acting a fool and stuff, the Negros came in malicious intent and didn't get carded or anything. Nahuel came in and did his service, and and got him with a red. So that was actually good work.
It doesn't surprise me that you're okay with those kind of tactics coming from a
Yeah, you're
goalkeeper.
not a dark arts kind of guy, Chiquis.
Well, but he is a Pumas fan, which
What are you trying to say?
which means he was.
What are you
which-
trying to say, Dan? Please,
You guys had
enlighten us.
Picolín for a bit, and then maybe he kind of grew to
I don't want to
appreciate-
derail the conversation, but Pumas is going to be picolinless for the first time. in
Picolín.
like
That's why I
13
said
years.
had. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. So as you were saying, Chiquis. So you liked him baiting Denigris into slapping him right in front of the ref?
Normally I wouldn't. Like those kinds of dark arts are okay in this case because Denigris went in and he was rustled or he was mad or angry or whatever, but he like maliciously tried to blatantly kick Aquino when he was going towards the end.
Right.
And
So it was almost like a double yellow. So the ref's like, you know what? You did two, so I'm just going to give you the red for that.
I think the ref was going to let it slide. The ref wasn't going to give any card to Denigris at all. So Noel had to go in there and defend his player, which is honorable. And then he didn't really like provoke nothing. He just like touched his side of his face, and Denigris was still upset. So he didn't like that at all, and he slapped. He slapped him. So Noel had the obvious thing and get him ejected that way. So
he knew exactly what he was doing.
So going back to my point of how Mexicans are incapable. Mexicans are for the most part incapable of employing the dark arts.
Who on earth ever said that?
I know we
'Cause,
talked about it a few months back, but yeah, it's like we're not very apt to troll on the field.
Well, there's much more to it.
They mostly get
than just
trolled.
that. But I mean, yeah. But there's. Well, anyway.
But Picolín, hey man,
he definitely
my hero.
was in soccer Slytherin. There's no question.
My biggest regret is that he never actually got any playing time with the national team.
Me too. I wanted to see it at least once.
It would have been dope. I mean, for a friendly or one of those qualifiers that didn't mean anything.
Oh, Joel, you're gonna love the TV in about 5 seconds. Go ahead.
Is it because Muhammad Gandhi wearing Leones?
Yeah, Leones. There was a
Leones,
Leones Negros fan there.
It looked like Gandhi. And that shirt reminds me of hot dog on a stick.
That you bring Picolín in the second half, so that he gets to run out there. The crowd would have loved it. Would have been great. And frankly, he deserved a chance. To play in a friendly for sure. Just give him a little taste. Here you go, Picolín.
Picolín, did you hear what he had to say on his Facebook?
Yeah, I'm not sure. What's going on over there with Pumas? They've now Picolín and Verón. They had great careers with Pumas, and if it turns out they want to go a different way, then that I'm fine with that. But to get rid of Britos was peculiar at best because he's actually been really decent for them for the past 2 or 3 years, right, Chiquis? I mean, he's been a solid player for Pumas. He's a good goal scorer and he's a great header of the ball. For a guy who's so little, I mean, you just don't expect it at all. And he was a solid contributor. And to me, there's no reason to, unless it's somebody, if they might be paying, the money, but whatever. But he's in his mid-20s to boots. I mean, it's not like he's on the downside of his career. It was a baffling decision. And then they also got rid of the Spaniard, which I was okay with. I went on one side. I said other people were a little freaked out, but I never thought he was any good. So I'm not sure what's going on with Pumas, and they can't really afford to have another bad season because then they'll have the relegation thing hanging around their neck too.
It's sort of odd. Like when Moises Munoz was kicked out, I felt for him and I didn't agree with it. With Picolín and Verón, I don't really care. I mean, I see it as a positive move moving forward, getting rid of these older guys. and trying to get in some younger people. So it's kind of weird how I sort of disagree with one and then agree with the other. Similar situations. Sort of.
Well, I think the situation with Moy though is that he isn't old.
Yeah, Moy plays had plenty to give, and like the other guy wasn't necessarily an upgrade, either.
But like someone like Veron, I mean, yeah, man, like the guy's.
I mean, he gave it a good run. Martin Palacio said he was the best Pumas foreigner, the best foreign player that Pumas has ever had, and I have a hard time arguing with him. Defender, absolutely, there's no question. And he won a lot of championships for them. And there was a time when when he was back there. I mean, Pumas always had the best defense in the league. I mean, he was a great player, and he played in the quarterfinals of the when Paraguay played Spain in the World Cup and in South Africa.
Pumas typically though they hold on to their players for a good bit, right?
Well, so it depends. Obviously they sell the youngsters if they're good enough, but the foreign players, yeah. I mean, unless if somebody comes and offers more money than they can pay, because they're not going to pay. Occasionally they'll do it for a couple, but it's just not going to happen, regularly. Like they couldn't keep Sosa.
Santos has a youngster from Pumas, don't they?
Do they?
I forget the name, but I thought I heard one of the Santos players.
Yeah, because Pumas doesn't really loan guys. I mean, like they get rid of guys, but they don't really loan guys out that much. I mean, they just.
Was De Buen with Pumas?
Well, De Buen was with Pumas, but he, yeah.
So I don't know if you're.
He actually did not have a good game this past
He
game.
started off pretty well.
Yeah.
Again, like he was the one that was creating a lot of danger initially. But yeah, let's not revisit that.
All right. Well, we won't talk. We won't talk about
like
it.
they lost.
Yeah. Yeah. So Pumas, they have to start, have a couple of seasons in the 20s, in the 20-point range, to not have to worry about promotion relegation, because
I don't think they have to worry about it though too much though, because
they'll get better. They always do.
Yeah, and they never they've avoided those catastrophic seasons too.
Yes, thank God. I mean, that's why Morelia was so happy. I mean, they went from dead last in the porcentaje, or next, but they started off dead last. They're like 10th now. They're like going to be 25 points clear of last place right now. So it was massive for them to stay up.
And you said Santos is 20-something points.
Santos is inside of 20, but I mean, it was like between 15 and 20. It was like 18, 19. It was like, it's one of those, where Pumas is going to be in a couple of years.
It would take one really horrible season,
right?
Half season to make it.
Yeah, but Santos has been consistently good, so I don't think you'd ever really have to worry about
I'm not worried about that. I'm really not.
Chiquis.
How's the game going? I'm not watching. Are they
it's
still
1-0 Atlas? 1-0 Atlas. I think Joel is waiting for his boy Carlos Fierro to deliver the knockout blow. Now the second game, we did that. So the third, did anyone get to watch the Cholos Morelia game? It was actually, it wasn't as entertaining as the first two, but it had its moments. A couple of great big saves, and
I watched parts of it. Morelia looked good, and Tijuana, I think, looked, at least from what I've seen recently, they kind of just unimpressive for the most part. I mean. But I guess you can expect them. But I guess you would expect a better performance. Even I mean, I know it's they're playing away, but
yeah, I don't think Tijuana was gonna risk anything to score, and all that much. I mean, and then the goal that they got was kind of fluky anyway. But
I just don't see them guaranteeing a win against Morelia. That's gonna be a tough match. I don't think
they did lose their striker Ruiz, who left the game injured. So they lost their 50% of their goal production.
Ouch.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
didn't know that.
that's gonna hurt. And frankly, playing at Tijuana is. I mean, if anyone has a really good home field advantage, it's Tijuana. They play really well at home. A good crowd. They play on that rug. It's usually one of the longer trips for teams, and so they're usually when they're flying for 30 minutes or whatever it is, 45 minutes. It's like maybe a 2-hour flight. Not that it should be that much of a difference, but it kind of changes things, and it's it's just for whatever reason it's just different. And they should have no problem, I think, advancing now. I don't know if they're gonna, depending on who they match up with, if they move beyond that. But I think that they'll probably have no problem beating Morelia up in Tijuana. Do you go, Dan? Have you been down with Tijuana game?
No, man, I'm lame. I haven't made it down there yet.
You're lame.
I am. I mean, there
used to be a show on Comedy Central called Almost Live that had a segment called The Lame List. It was these grungy dudes, and they'd say something, and they're all, "You're lame." It was pretty funny. I'm sorry, as you were saying, you're lame. You were lame, Dan. You're lame for not going.
Yeah, I am. Just because.
Not even when Santos comes to town.
Yeah, you would think I would have made it out by now, right? But no, I haven't. I'm always scared to venture out alone, and I don't have too many people that are like into the footy, so sometimes it gets a little bit difficult. And right now, with the little ones that I have,
you don't have your one friend that will just you try to get hooked into the sport.
I got a couple friends hooked into the sport, but they're living in LA, so
it's too bad.
Yeah. But I got a couple friends here, but I just more than anything, it's the little ones that are keeping me super busy.
Well, you could take them too. I'm sure that nothing would be more exciting for a 4-year-old than to sit in the stands for 2 hours, not knowing what's going on.
So I haven't gone to a baseball game with them either.
How are the Padres doing this year? Are they?
I don't know. I'm a Dodger fan.
Oh, well.
I'm from LA, man.
Pardon me.
Yeah, I'm still very much consider myself an LA guy that happens to be living in San Diego.
And then you have the, you got the Chargers in LA now.
Yeah.
They're going to play at the Home Depot Center, where people, the NFL is going to be saying, hey, maybe these 20,000 stadiums aren't that bad.
Is that where they're going to be playing until
to their new places? Oh yeah, they're gonna probably share the stadium with the Rams.
Yeah,
which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, I always thought the LA was perfectly fine without the NFL.
Yeah, it's weird that it was 20 years it didn't have a team, and then like I guess when USC was good, that was like their team. But
I was perfectly content with watching USC. Absolutely, that's kind of like the way it was, at least for me.
I watched USC play once. It was fun. It was a good game. It was very enjoyable to me.
Talking about the Rose Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a play at the end of that game, Dan, after Texas had scored and gone ahead, and it was the second to last play of the game, and Matt Leinart did like a desperation shovel pass to Reggie Bush, and Reggie starts going up the sideline, and he has one guy, and he misses, but Reggie had already decided to go out of bounds. If Reggie stops and cuts, he was gone, because that was the safety. He was gone. And he decided to step out of bounds instead. So,
yeah, that was a tough game, man. they had no clue how to remotely slow down, let alone stop Vince Young.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun for us.
That dude just take the snap and then run with the ball and get first downs just at will. Yeah, that was a rough game. I was they could not stop him at all.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk Rose Bowl. You can always.
We're all over the place today.
It's on the Longhorn Network. At least once a week, so you can always.
I bet.
I'm not kidding. I mean, it is on constantly. It's
Yeah, I mean that was a huge game. I mean, USC was touting itself, or at least a lot of the media was touting it as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, college team ever. They had won the year before.
Oh, I remember. I was there.
And they mowed through everybody through that season, and then
Yeah,
the matchup that everybody wanted to see, and Texas got the job done.
Yeah, there were a lot of NFL players on that field that night for both teams.
I think that marked the end of the dynasty.
It was.
It all started going downhill for USC at that point. Slowly
but surely. Bleeding like a stuck pig.
Uncle Pete started losing his
this is kind of like
mojo.
When Joel and the coach start talking about US, I feel like we're doing that to
Joel,
because
he doesn't watch Pointy Ball.
That's right.
Actually, I don't even watch it anymore. I haven't watched football in years
since that day, since the Rose Bowl. I just can't watch it anymore, John. I can't do it. That's funny. Of course, we met, Dan, when I was out there for the second national championship game that Texas played out there in Pasadena.
Was it the following year?
No, it was like 4 years later.
Okay.
In 2009. But that was actually my third trip. I've been to the Rose Bowl 3 times because of Texas, because I was producing the radio back then. So I got to see him play Michigan, USC, and Alabama. I mean, the holy trinity of college football, as far as just 3 massive teams. It was.
At the Rose Bowl. I mean,
it's a great stadium. It is a great stadium. I know it's, a friend of mine says, oh, well, he always, well, the sight lines are this, and it's very flat near the field. So, dude, who the hell cares, man? You're at the freaking Rose Bowl. Who cares if the sight lines are crappy? It's Chickies, you've been to the Rose Bowl. You've sat in the corner. Was it just awful?
No, it was good. That's fine.
I think the views are pretty rough, but I mean, just when that place is packed, it's pretty special.
It's magical, yeah. Did you go to any of the Gold Cup finals, Dan, at the Rose Bowl?
Yeah. I've gone to a couple matches there. I'm trying to think of. I think I saw Mexico play there twice. I think once against New Zealand. I think with Jonathan played.
Right, where Chicharito scored that great goal, and Carlos Vela scored an even better one.
And then also the final against the U.S., the 4-2. That legendary 4-2, where Giovanni got that awesome goal.
Where I think that every fan of Mexico thought that this was finally it. Seriously. We saw it in 2010 a little bit. Like this is what we're, and the kind of never really worked out after that.
It's just the emotional roller coaster that everybody went on that game, during that game, going down 2-0.
Right.
Man, I was getting bitter. I was like, man, I just want to get drunk, man, pick a fight. But luckily, things turned around.
It's a good segue for us, Dan, because that's something we can talk about here as well. Is the next week, I believe, is on Thursday is the day that Juan Carlos Osorio has to send his list to FIFA for the 30 preliminary man list. Out of the 30 players, he's going to take 23, and 7 of them are on, quote unquote standby in case someone gets injured. And
when does that kick off?
That kicks off like June 17th. Yeah, the Confed Cup starts like at the beginning of 1 week, and then the Gold Cup starts at the end of the week. So it's like one's like, so they're very, very close to one another. Which is one of the reasons why Mexico really can't have players play both.
No, that's fine. Like, yeah, I think it'd be silly to. I know at some point they were kind of doing that with the Copa America and Gold Cup, but it's a bit much.
That was for a real Gold Cup, though. This is
Molero. Well, actually, they're all kind of the same now. I mean, they count.
the ones that counted to go.
They all count the same because it's an official tournament.
Well, I'm saying they all count now more so because they get you that half ticket to the Confeds Cup.
Well, not only that, but I mean, it's also a way for Mexico to improve its standing to for what the real prize is, which is a group seed in the next World Cup. Which is why it's very important that Mexico do well in both the Confed Cup and the Gold Cup.
You think that's a possibility still for this cycle?
Absolutely, I think it absolutely mathematically it is, but I mean, but the results have to. I mean, it all depends on the results. I mean, if Mexico makes the semifinals of the Confed Cup or the finals of the Confed Cup, then yeah, I think that will absolutely help them make it to the.
And I forget this they didn't change anything. They're still going to do the 32.
That's correct.
All right. I got momentarily confused right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the 48 doesn't start till 2026, and then the 2022 World Cup is going to be played in like November, December, which I'm actually looking forward to. I think it's going to be really cool. So,
week.
Do they serve alcohol over there?
I'm not going. And if they, I'm sure that they'll make exceptions when Budweiser and other people have.
Where are you talking about?
In Qatar.
Oh, Qatar.
Qatar?
I thought you were meaning Russia.
No, that is not a dry country.
Yeah, Russia's like an alcoholic country, man.
Well, they got the vodka thing going. I don't know what much else, but
Well, that's
I know
all.
they're.
That's all they drink is vodka. They don't drink water.
Now, be nice, chickies. That's
Wow.
I've heard from people that have gone there and they've lived there, and wives pretty much. That's like one of their problems when they get married to somebody. It's usually a drunk guy. If you're Russian, you're drunk half the time. Maybe I'm being offensive, but sorry.
I don't think many Russians are listening, and
that
it's true.
You know, I did post a word in Russian on my Twitter today, so I've probably like been flagged.
Yativya?
Yes. So we'll see. So back to this big list. My question to y'all is, and it's something that I posed earlier. I mean, to me, the biggest wild card in this whole thing is going to be Giovanni. I mean, he's with LA Galaxy. I mean, and he hasn't. I mean, what has he done with LA Galaxy this year? I mean, the team is not playing well. He should be the kind of player that could, lift a team like that. He's not. So does he even deserve a chance to play in the Confed Cup? Has his play earned him a call, or does he get a call out, or does he get a call just because he plays well for Mexico?
Is anybody out?
No one yet.
He gets a call to ride the bench. Oh, there you go. Nope.
Yeah, because there are some pretty good options. There are some pretty decent options, but I would call him.
You would or you would not?
I would. Just because he's been one of the more reliable guys, no matter what his playing time or what his form with his team has been. Not to say that he hasn't had his horrible games with the national team, but a lot of the time he's one of the guys that you can count on.
Chickies?
And plus, I think there's always. I'm sorry, and with Mexico, I think that there's always a shortage of guys that can make something out of nothing, and he's one of those few. So I figure you want to have somebody like that you can just call upon, even if you don't start him, even if he doesn't play every game, but just somebody to have just in case. I think at the very least, that's somebody you want to call on.
Well, looking at, I had to refer back to John's article, and you put Oribe in the Gold Cup. Now that's sort of arguable for me, like Oribe or Giovanni. If Oribe goes to Gold Cup, I say Giovanni goes to Gold Cup. And if Gold Cup is really a priority based on getting a seed and getting Mexico up on points or whatever with FIFA, I don't think he's going to play in Confed, so I would say take it to gold with Oribe. Because you're going down, like Pulido's all right, trophies, you're going down in talent, Gallardo as well. Damn, and then you got Linus in there.
Yeah, I figured why the hell not.
Yeah, so I think Giovanni needs
just to tick off Johnny Rico, who for whatever reason is 100% against using players that are under the age of 25.
I think Giovanni needs to supplement those players right there in the Gold Cup. And also prove, like, hey man, you're not doing anything in MLS right now. You don't. This is the big league with Deca. Well, you could probably put some blame on European dudes. Also, some of them aren't doing anything.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's and those guys are getting called. And that's I honestly think that Giovanni has had his best, his career-defining moments have happened with the national team. He's with LA Galaxy, making $6 million a year, or whatever the hell, or whatever he's making, and probably more, because of what he's done with the national team. So, to me, he's one of these guys that will show up for the national. He always does. Yeah, you're right, Danny does have some bad games, but then he has moments of magic that other guys just can't really create. So you have to have it.
I just don't like
John?
the idea of having him at the Gold Cup, though.
Yes, Joel.
I agree with you. Gio is a player that when he puts Valverde, he powers up. But I don't think Osorio knows that.
Does he earn extra hit points, Joel, cuando se pone la verde?
Pretty much, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, Osorio's never. He doesn't seem like he's been a big fan of Gio. So
I don't think he's a fan of Gio's work ethic. That's what I think. It seems like Osorio values guys that like to put in the time, because he likes to put in the time. I'm not saying there's anything that's good or bad. I'm just making an observation. But he did say that he's gonna play at some point.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Moleros and Gio just being still very marketable. So you can't afford to leave a player like him out.
We'll see, and I guess that's the other one about him is, he's marketable here in the U.S. too, and he's just a marketable guy. So
yeah, because if he wasn't, I don't think we would be mentioning his name right now.
So yeah, I mean, it just. I'd rather have a guy like Gio coming off the bench for the Confed Cup than. I mean, I know what he can do against Gold Cup teams. I've seen it. Let's see what he can do against Portugal.
I completely agree with you, John. I think it'd be a waste for him to go to the Gold Cup. Let somebody else a shot. Let one of the kids get a crack at some playing time in a tournament. If he's going to go anywhere, I think he should go to the Confeds Cup.
Joel, are things so bad with Chivas that Carlos Salcido has to take free kicks?
He scored one.
He's done it before, though. I don't know why, but he's always taking free kicks. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
It was awful.
There's another thing that on their corners, they're putting two guys on the corners, raising their hands before they kick it, and then one fakes. They're just wasting a player on those corners, having two players over there, as if they're going to fake them out. Like who's going to kick it, a righty or a lefty? They're just centering and centering and centering like the national team used to do all the time, and up with zero results. So they're not impressing. They got to go down the middle or do something with Pulido down the middle. It's just Fierro on the sides.
They did score a goal, and people it was called offside. People say, "Oh, it was a legitimate goal that was called offside." It looked like it was offside to me. Maybe folks that are listening might have something different to say about that. But it looked like it was definitely offside. Oh, you saw the play. Did you think it was offside, or did you?
Which play, John?
When with the Chivas goal that was not allowed, that was called off.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
It was offside though.
I saw a screen capture of an Atlas guy on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen.
Oh really? Oh, maybe I missed that.
I don't know if that's a replay or whatever, but on Twitter.
Well,
I haven't seen the actual. I have to see the replay, but
oof, boy. Carlos Fierro's had his chances this game. Is he going to be able to do it? It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. So is 1-0 going to be enough for Atlas, Joel? Do you think that are they satisfied with just the 1-0, knowing that Chivas isn't going to score on us at home because they haven't been able to? So
it can be. I mean, we talked about it before, just how much Chivas has struggled at home.
Why does Chivas struggle at home?
It's been a long time. We had that streak, what was it, like a season or two ago, when they just couldn't win, and they would miss penalties, or they would play teams that will go down a man.
No, but I'm not talking about just recently. I'm talking about just in general. I mean, at least since they have the new stadium, it is. They are mediocre at best at home.
Yeah, the Chivas Stadium hasn't been I don't think it's been a fort.
I mean, it's kind of like a plaza. It's like a the Santa Monica Pier. Everyone comes and has a good time. No, definitely not a fort. It's very unfortunate. You would hope for them to be better. Well, they're in stoppage time, Joel, and Chivas will they grab a late one to tie the series?
Well, they've been attacking. They've been pretty relentless, but I don't know. I think it's one of those games where they could play for like 2 more hours, and they're not going to score.
Well, they're going to play for 90 more minutes on Sunday. It's going to be the nightcap on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. So,
yeah, you can see some frustration now right there, Pineda, with the fall.
I think they'll come back and they'll win.
There's going to be a lot of pressure on Chivas.
It's been on Almeida. I don't know if I mentioned this during the show, but they were marketing him as the expert in clásicos, for his River Plate background. But he hasn't won a clásico that matters. He lost the 2 against America, which are first round Liguilla games. Now he's losing against Atlas. So that would be 3 clásicos in a row eliminated.
So was he like expired mayonnaise, Joel? Do we have to check the label on Almeida?
I don't know, man. With Higuera right there, it's hard. I've said it many times. It's hard to judge him because Higuera's known to micromanage. So who knows?
Well, I mean, at this point, it's not like he's a bad coach, right? So you want to give him a chance.
He's not, but I think you're a team like Chivas. Your priority is the league.
Right.
They had it, and right now I would take Buse over him, but Buse's not going anywhere near Chivas.
Do you think they'd pull the plug if he got bounced after the first round?
No, because there's really no one to replace him. You know, Higuera, if he could find, like, say, Bielsa, he would do it. Because he already almost did it with that other Argentine guy that was in Chile.
Sampaoli?
So, yeah, who he threw them under the bus. You know, that was around the time that, and you also had the rumors with Vucetich, and that's around the time where it's like, I think he was gonna leave. Almeida was just gonna leave because it pretty much, it's pretty much becoming obvious that they're about to replace him, and they give him that 5-year deal.
Well, I mean, they did have a lot of injuries, so wouldn't you give Almeida a pass for the season? And
No, because I mean, like I'm telling you, I do think, and I'll have to do, some looking into it, but I do think it's part of what they did at the start of the season when they got rid of a lot of coaching staff, and they got rid of, like, some of the physiotherapists and stuff like that.
Joel, if I didn't know any better, and I feel like I'm reading between lines, it sounds like you want just a straight up limpia total.
No, not that. I mean, change of ownership would be nice, but I mean, it's poor management to just, to not know that could affect. And we were talking about this earlier, John, how it was one of the problems that Guardiola had at Bayern, where he started having all these injuries, and he ended up with the dispute with the with the team doctor.
It's I guess one thing we'll have to figure out, Joel, is the injuries were they caused by trauma, or were they just muscle injuries?
No, I think both.
So you can't really blame anybody for a trauma. I mean, those things just happen. But the muscle injuries, if there's a rash of those, then yeah, you can look at your nutritionist and your trainers and all the other stuff to see what can we do to minimize this, because this is getting ridiculous. It's one of the reasons why our buddy Giovanni always seems to have hamstring problems. He the rumor is that he likes the good life, and sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you got to take care of your body, because that's how you're that's what you're expected to do. So find the balance. Chicas, you don't think they should enjoy the good life at all, do you? You think they should be just upstanding young men?
Yeah, they need to take care of themselves.
Go home and have Vespers.
Well, I think that you can partake, and not harm yourself.
Well, thank you very much. I don't mind if I do.
But I think the thing with a lot of the, like with Giovanni, is sort of the way he plays. Like when he cuts and when he accelerates and decelerates, the way he does it, it's sort of prone to those types of injuries.
Yeah, but more the reason for him than to figure out what he needs to do so that his body can handle that.
Yeah,
The way you're describing Beto, I mean, like the whole stopping and going like really, really fast, the explosion.
Mhm.
I mean, any football coach, any football trainer would be able to teach you certain techniques or certain exercises to help improve those and help improve the durability of your fast twitch muscles. I mean, like cornerbacks in football are sprinting on every play.
Right, but it's not just that though. I mean, it's that's a huge part of it. But there's also there's a nutritional aspect that can't be ignored. And I know that Lionel Messi was a steak, and I forget what was the other two things he just loved eating all the time. And they're like, dude, there's no way that you're gonna, survive if you eat. You have to change your diet, and if Giovanni hasn't, hopefully he has, but if he hasn't, he needs to. He's not 23 anymore. He's entering.
No, he did. He did. He had. There was this nutritionist. I think Argentina as well, but in Italy, that and he lost weight as well, and he stopped being injured so much.
Yeah, but he's also gained weight since he's been at MLS. So.
Oh yeah. Wait, you guys talking about Joe? I was thinking Messi. Did one of you guys
yeah.
Messi?
Yeah, you're Messi. You're right. Yeah, Messi. Yes.
That's the guy.
This goes to the Chivas players also. The way they play, so dynamic and so fast-paced, sprinting and going back and forth. Like even today, Carlos Fierro is getting thrown around all over the place, and one of those times is injury. And
yeah, and what you mentioned that Al, is that a lot of these guys are new to this the coaching staff of Chivas because Almeida brought his whole staff. Before he was just a coach at the other teams that River played and said Belgrano, Racing, whatever. He was just a coach. He brought out his buddies, and they just gave him full reins of the team. And I think this is some of the stuff that you need to have people that are just, dedicated to that. These guys are, they're getting paid to learn.
And on the Giovanni note, there soccer nerds on our chat said it's one thing to see a nutritionist, another to have discipline. Giovanni doesn't look like a guy who can eat whatever he wants. You guys mentioned like his work ethic or his discipline. Is there really proof of that? Because I used to think like, guys getting a little bit chubby in MLS and all this stuff, but what other proof is there that he really is like?
No, we have no proof at all. This is pure conjecture.
Okay, because I sort of want to.
No, I mean, you can see. I mean, there were times where you could see when he was overweight. I mean, it's his cheeks were a little chunkier, and a little wiggle when he was running over in the belly area. So, yeah, I mean, you knew that there was something.
He also has a tendency to walk, which you can't help but notice.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, he seems to stick out more than most when you see him just standing around.
Because I was gonna feel weird mentioning this, but the whole Instagram stuff and the Snapchat. I follow Gio, and he's posted some workout pictures, like riding the bike, and I'm sure he's having fun and stuff. But without a shirt, he doesn't look too chubby. He looks pretty.
It's pretty cut, huh?
Because at first I did thought, okay, he's going to MLS. Let me see how out of shape he is and all this. But so.
No, I mean, when he first got to MLS, he definitely put on the pound. There's no question. I mean, you saw it.
All these players need to be more like Ronaldo and just like post shirtless pics on Instagram.
Hey, man. Talk about this. He used to smoke 2 packs a day, and he played, and he did just fine.
That's Beto's vice, is going on Instagram and looking at football players' physiques.
That's right.
Yeah.
You were very descriptive, Chiquis, when you were talking about.
You can understand the player's psyche. They're what they're doing. Like Pulido's out there partying on the boats off of Guadalajara and like singing and mariachi and all this stuff.
All right, so let's talk about another player who's more 100% guaranteed to be at the Confed Cup, but who hasn't really scored maybe 2-3 goals in 2017, at least for his club, and that's Chicharito, who for whatever reason he came back with the FIFA virus and was hurt and hasn't had. He's played like one half since then. So he hasn't played since the end of March, basically. Is that good, bad, indifferent? Doesn't matter.
I think it depends. I like the optimistic side of me thinks that it's a good thing because it means he's totally fresh, won't have any kind of fatigue going into the tournament, and he's also going to be hungry to put on a good showing because he's basically putting himself on the shop window, and if he has a really good tournament, then maybe he can make a significant move.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, this is the first break that Chicharito's gotten since what, 2012. You know, so yeah, maybe he will be a little fresher then for the tournament.
We're talking
He
Chicharito
seems to
now.
have. We've moved on to the Cheech, Joel. Keep up, man. Keep up. No, he has been benched. There was a coaching change at Leverkusen, so he hasn't been playing. But a lot of their regulars really well, at least because I'm been a Leverkusen fan all my life, so I was so happy when Chicharito joined them. So you start paying attention a little more. And it seemed like it's not just he that he's been mentioned. Like the was it Kelarabi? Doesn't seem to be playing that much. There's some other guys too. So maybe I'm not sure what they're doing, but I mean they're stuck like in 12th or 13th place. So there's really no point in him being there that much longer. So you're right, Dan, that a really good showing at the Confed Cup will.
No need for that long, John.
There's no need.
Mourinho has been keeping price on Chicharo. With Zlatan injured, he said that the way Man U is playing under his system, Chicharo could easily score 20.
So you think the special one's going to bring Chicharo in?
He said already in more than one occasion. He's first he said he would have never sold him. And then
Giovanni is actually 28 years old today, so happy birthday, Giovanni. I'm sorry, as you were saying.
I'm sure those words gave him a chubby.
So yes, because we know that Giovanni is one of the folks that are listening to us now. If you guys are just joining us, we did start a little late. We do apologize for that, but thank you guys for joining us. Our chat's open, and I don't think Cheeky set up a telephone number this week, but feel free to let us know what your thoughts are on at least on the first leg of the Liguilla games and who y'all think is going to take the title based on what you've seen. Give us your gut reaction after what you've seen in the first game, the first leg for all four teams. So
I think everybody's money's on Tigres right now.
You think that's where the smart money is right now? Joel, is on Tigres, or is that where or is it the smart money and the dumb money?
Everyone put all their shekels on Tigres.
Well, they certainly did not disappoint.
You could win imposing
with their
like
game
that
yesterday.
Yeah.
So do you think that
Monterrey
Tigres
had been just going into the end of the season, Monterrey had picked up some steam, and to lose like that, and the series in Liguilla, out of 5 games, Monterrey had won 4, and all 4 of them they've beaten Tuca.
You think, Joel, that Tigres has a pair of bullets, and then they drew the third ace on the flop?
No, I just think just the players they have, and they just pick up steam, or they just improve, and they're doing it at the right moment right now.
To me, the biggest move, and I'm not sure if the guy's injured or not, but when Edu Vargas came out of the lineup and Tuca put the Celarayan guy in, made a huge difference. I'm not sure why they even picked up Edu Vargas, to be honest, because he really hasn't really mishmashed all that well, and it just doesn't seem like he is really kind of fits what they're doing at least, and especially was put out of position like he had been, and he was in the Conca Champions. But you're right, though. It's they have just an unbelievable amount of talent, and their talent is playing well right now. So that makes them a very dangerous team.
You always hear that when Tigres wants to win or wants to play well, then they will. But also, I think on Univision, a stat they gave was that Gignac has only scored one goal against Monterrey in the Clásicos his entire career.
His entire career, he's been like 5 Clásicos.
However many Clásicos that is. I mean, he scores 2 here, so I think they just they're feeling the pressure from having lost the Conca Champions, and they need something to show for all the talent because they're pretty much the stacked team in Liga MX.
And that's what makes their loss to Pachuca all that much more baffling. Or you could look at it as Pachuca's victory that much more impressive, because I mean it was Gonzalez and then I think the Colombian guy whose name escapes me are there 2 zagueros. So they were, it was impressive. They shut down the offense that in the past 6 or 7 games are averaging like 3.5 goals a game, which is insane right now. So kudos to them for pulling that one off. So they beat Monterrey 4-1. And I was thinking for Monterrey, man, when it was still 3-0, if they can get 1 goal, then they have a very realistic chance of winning by two goals in the Tamalera. But right after that happened, Dueñas got the 4th goal, and so this kid Dueñas had just another terrific game. I believe, I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he should be going to the Confed Cup. I think he's be a great player to have as a starter for the Gold Cup, and he played really well for Tigres in this game. Certainly Gignac got the other 2 goals, but I mean this game really controlled the game really well. Conducting from the midfield, very very impressive outing by young Mr. Dueñas. Chiquis, so I know you're a big Tigres fan. Are you? Have you started making plans to go down to the Macro Plaza when it's time to celebrate?
Need to see when exactly that is, and where I'll be, because that would be pretty cool to go down there.
That would be fun.
Let me look at that calendar. If they make it to the final,
so it'll be like in 2 weeks.
Oh, in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Monterrey's not that. It's only like a 5-hour drive for us, Chiquis. We really should go down to Monterrey. But let's go in the winter because I don't want to sit in the Tamalera in April or May. I couldn't imagine.
In 2 weeks, you said?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, because this is the quarterfinal. So next week the semis, and the week after that will be the final.
Oh, okay.
Chiqui's already making plans for the final to go down to Monterrey. How about that?
I can't. I'll be in.
That's how confident he is. We should. The second game, Chiquis, was. I know we've been avoiding it all night, but I think it's something we need to talk about, and that's Santos' 4-1 loss to Toluca, which, frankly, not many folks saw coming. Santos was able to equalize early in the second half, but just not 30 seconds later, Toluca got the second goal, kind of broke their back, and then Santos gave up a third to fourth, and it was 4-1 to Toluca, and then you go down to the Bombonera to close out the tie down there. I'm going to talk to I'll ask our resident Santos expert, Dan, should you just go ahead and start thinking about next season? Is it time for the players to start thinking about making some tea times over on the coast? Maybe go deep sea fishing.
Yes. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I give them no shot.
Will you watch it with honor, or will you have
No,
something?
I'm gonna watch like a hopeful fan and pray for a miracle, and because I'd actually be somewhat surprised if they don't make a game of it, just because the way this league and the way the Liguillas tend to work out. I mean, no lead seems to be safe. I seem to recall their last championship they had like a 6-0 advantage or something, and almost squandered it. So it wouldn't surprise me if they made it interesting, but I don't see it happening.
Joel, what does
Yes,
this
sir.
mean for Chepo if Santos loses? What is this a good step for Chepo to get to the Liguilla? Was that the minimum for him? Would it to be considered a successful season, or
Yes, of
is
course
it
it
always a
was.
disappointment?
No, they were. That was part of the thing, was first to qualify, and also to make enough points where they climb higher up in the relegation chart. When the percentage chart. I
Sure.
think they got those two things. The third thing is they've been introducing a lot of the young players, bringing them on.
I believe the correct term is the relegation quotient.
Yeah, just all confusing. But so I think
Yes.
that they did. They made those three things, which you know.
Well, if that's the case, and I do believe you're correct. If that is the case, then isn't this 4-1 loss more of a disappointment, because you would think that the team would have been a little looser? But
No, yeah.
but Dan just bring up a huge point that they lost probably their two most important players to red cards in the previous 2-2 draw with Toluca over the weekend. So
yeah, and when
they had that.
they were known for their defense, so for them to fall apart, it is disappointing. But I won't throw away what they've done throughout the season. Just because that's the thing about Liguilla. One bad game and people will forget everything you've done throughout the season. Right?
Now, I can attest to the fact, as a Pumas fan, even against Santos, that a 3-goal lead in the Liguilla is never safe. I've seen Santos come back from a 3-0 against Pumas. It's almost like when you watch the first leg back when they had Achita. Pumas ended up winning that tie.
Yeah.
Obviously, they had the final against Tigres where they were down 3-0, and then went to Seoul and sent that one to extra time. And then we had in the semifinal of that same Liguilla, Pumas going up 3-0 to America in the Estadio Azteca, and then going to Seoul and barely hanging on. So there's no question that Santos can pull off a miracle. And as Dan said, no one would be surprised. We've become desensitized to it.
Keep in mind, the first two games, there were 5 goals.
Right.
So,
watching Liga MX is like watching Game of Thrones. Something really violent happens. You're so used to it happening that when you watch the scene, you're like, oh man, they really lit that really nice. You totally forget what you're watching because it's so expected.
The contrast in stadiums, though, I was disappointed in Torreon. There was like whole sections of just empty seats.
Well, yeah, but it filled up. But I think that section of empty seats was for the Toluca fans. It was reserved for Toluca fans.
Well, even not okay, not even that section, but like even in the rest of the stadium, really close to that.
Well, it started off like that, but it filled up by the end of the game. It was very full at the end of the game.
Yeah, I'll have to look, but I have thoughts on that. I should have looked.
Now the Volcan was full from the very beginning.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of.
Those people don't mess around.
Even This is Chivas. Even in Atlas, it's now that was pretty full. Stadium there.
No, Atlas looked good tonight, and Morelia had some empty spots. But, it's hard for. I mean, I know that Tigres fans are, it's a league session. Even they started arriving like 2 hours early. But the day of labor in Mexico ends a lot later than it does in this country. It doesn't end at 5. It ends at sometimes 7, even 8 o'clock. So it's hard for folks to get out of work and go to stadiums when they're playing at 7:30. Even 9:30 sometimes. So it is somewhat understandable, and it's one of the reasons why they would prefer to have games on at 9, because then they know they're going to have more people at home watching and the ability for the fans to get to the stands. So, and then earlier today we had Cholos lose to Morelia 1-0 in Morelia. And the unfortunate news from Morelia was that their Peruvian striker and CantinaMX scoring champion for the second consecutive season, Ruiz Diaz, the Peruvian, left the game injured, so they're going to have a really hard time. They need to score some goals in Tijuana to do that. So hopefully they'll pull it out. I'm not going to lie, I was rooting for Monarcas today. I think, Dan, you were also rooting for Monarcas. It's your adopted team now.
My butterflies, yes.
Your little butterflies.
Yes, I'm my new adopted team. Absolutely.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet, Dan. Well, let's hope that works out for you better than what had happened last night in Torreon.
Well, I mean, like I said, my original pick is Tigres, so at least from my pick standpoint, I look good. But
Chiquis, do you remember who you picked?
I don't recall. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I do not remember either. All right, gentlemen. So we expect Tigres to advance. Yes, correct. Oh, we haven't talked about this. The Atlas Chivas game that just ended. 1-0 to Atlas. Joel, is that going to be enough to push Atlas through, considering how bad Chivas has been scoring goals? Is one goal going to be enough over 180 minutes of Clásico Tapatío?
Well, I've been saying that they've been struggling, so who knows? They could just break from that bad string of results and have a goal fest, or they could continue on that. Yeah, by this point, it could probably even be mental now.
Now, I have a question for you.
Pulido, or just to finish, even Pulido has been a bit of a letdown, because this is, these are the games where he needs to show his worth.
This is why they paid him the big bucks. That's right.
Yeah, not because we have a bunch of players, and that's one thing that's been making Chivas look better than they are, and it's all the Copa MX glory.
Now, Joel, as a Chivas fan, a few weeks ago when Cruz Azul brought the Bruja out to lift the curse on the stadium.
Yes, sir.
As a Chivas fan, would you rather have the Chivas front office hire a Bruja to come and do something, or just right before the game have this guy come out and do this? What do you think would help the team find the net more? A Bruja or Vicente doing that?
No, Vicente.
Before the game. Yeah.
He could be standing on top of the stadium,
See, that would be even cooler if they put him on one of those, like the sky cam that they use. If they put Vicente on one of those, just zip him from one end of the stadium to the other while he's belting out. That'd be fantastic.
He'll have a heart attack, man. The guy's Ruco. The guy's abuelo.
Is it true that his son this week came really close to
there's video
puking on the
footage
stage while he was performing? Did it happen? I mean, I don't see it. That's I feel terrible because that's that's a
You could
performance.
see him regurgitate, but he didn't spew.
Oh,
But
so
there's video.
he was
There's
coughing
footage.
up a fur ball, but he pushed it back down.
Yeah, he kept. Yeah, he walks away from the stage.
Oof, poor guy.
I would have just hurled into the front row fans. That's what they
Just
pay for,
let it
John.
rip.
You got this VIP. That's what they want, that experience. You want.
That's right. They
I,
want the-
I got I got Chenta Junior's DNA on. Got this gunk.
Now, Joel, how much of Chivas' inability to score tonight would you put squarely on the shoulders of Carlos Fierro, who just
No, Fierro's not. See, that's the thing. Fierro's not the 20 million. He's not the 20 million or the 18 million or you know. He's
Right.
he's one of the cantera guys who almost became uh, second division player. It's about to be forgotten. But I mean, no, not much. Not much. I mean, I would love it if he could score, but
I would put a lot, man.
he's been, he hasn't been in the same team long enough for him.
right, and he's had like 8 different coaches as he's been at Chivas.
Yeah, that's where they messed up because they were giving him continuity and he was playing good. He wasn't scoring, but he was a big part of Omar Bravo. It was a setup, and Bravo was just scoring. He had his mojo back, and as soon as they got rid of that, even Bravo dried up.
Did Carlos Fierro have his best moments as a Chiva under Chepo?
I don't know. I think he was beginning to have some good moments right now with Almeida, but nothing like standout. Players you just need to give them playing time. And it takes it's more than a season. And in Mexico we play half seasons, so it's more than half a season. You gotta get. I think Almeida was talking about a lot of the players saying a lot of his youth players don't even have 60 games with the first team.
I think it's simpler though. In this game in particular against Atlas, Fierro wasn't the main player like Pulido should have been, but he was the guy that was distributing, that was taking it on the wing, and Pulido is just the guy that needs to receive it. So the whole point is getting it to Pulido, and that's Fierro's job, which he wasn't doing. He was just crossing and taking it on the wing and crossing.
It was like watching a left-footed Gringo Castro is what it was.
Exactly. So I would blame it all on Fierro, or if you want to blame it on Pulido, Pulido should have gone to the wing and took his job or something. And Almeida should have told Fierro, okay, you don't need.
I think he's upset Joel.
The Chiquis got maybe
Man, he's throwing some major shade at your boy.
he got muted.
Well,
No, you can't put too much on that guy. Come on, man.
Well, okay, I'll put it on Almeida. Almeida should have told him, hey, quit crossing, quit taking it on the wing, cut it back in the middle. And
But that's it. That's what they practice. That's what they practice as what Almeida wants. That's what he's gonna do. He doesn't go and play his own game.
But that's not how they've scored. Like Chivas has scored all their goals pretty much not off of cross.
Hey, well, I mean, what does it tell you when Almeida he substituted Chofis? Put some kid with number 297.
That's in total, and
in his shirt.
he
I mean, why?
But
why
he
not
takes
sub
trophies
Fierro?
out. He takes trophies out of every game.
I mean, what does that tell you if he's leaving Fierro over Chofis? And he gave Chofis on number 10, the coveted number 10. Man.
that's basic. That's basic coaching, though, man. Because Fierro's the one that's hustling, that's doing something. Trophies, what was he even doing? He was just like standing around. Didn't get the ball much, I don't think. So take out the player. Fierro's at least hustling.
You know where Chofis? He needs to go with Tuca. Tuca will set him straight.
Just send them to Tigres second division team, man. Straight to, what was it, Tigrillos?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he did to Loquito Garcia, man. That guy
Oh, really?
he was a trophies, man. Back in his time, he was from Atlas. I don't know if you guys
The
remember.
trophies of his time. That's right. Didn't
He was doing really good, man.
Didn't he go to MLS?
Chivas USA.
Yeah.
Chivas USA. And then he ended up returning to Tigres, and he just couldn't cut it. He ended up playing in the affiliate second division team.
Tigrillos.
Yeah, you know, was another thing that's cool about this Liguilla is that Sambuesa and Osvaldo Martinez, I think, are playing. And if only Moises would have made somehow, then like all the Americans made it, and America wouldn't have. That would have been pretty classic.
Oh, and by the way, how interesting is it that now that Sambuesa is with Toluca, I mean, one, his act is cleaned up considerably, and two, because of that fact, that he's getting a little bit more wiggle from the refs than he ever did when he was with America. How interesting is that?
That is sort of weird.
All right, so we all agree Tigres makes it out. Tigres and Toluca are probably going to make it out, right?
Yep.
All right, Cholos and Morelia. I mean, I personally believe that Cholos will have no problem, but I could be wrong. No, I'm not going to be wrong. They will have no problem. Cholos goes through.
I think so as well.
Dan?
Oh, Dan had the jet.
Did we lose Dan?
Yeah.
Or did we lost Lieutenant Dan? All right.
Ejected.
Chiquis, you say Cholos goes through. Joel, you're gonna upset all your Southern California.
Cholos no, I'm on the Cholos train, and especially if Rivas is injured. But I do think that losing 1-0 is not that bad. No,
it's not.
It's not a bad away result.
They're gonna score goals. Another team that lost 1-0 is Chivas, Joel. So, what is your what?
Yeah, but Chivas hasn't been able to score. They haven't been able to score in a month. That's what I'm asking.
What is your gut tell you? Are Chivas going to make it through, or is it going to be another fracaso in the?
It's a coin toss for me right here, John.
When was the last time Atlas beat anybody in the Liguilla?
Man, the last time they faced each other was 2 years ago, and it was like
fight.
It was like 1-1 at the OmniLife.
Yeah.
And then Fabian scored the hat trick at the Jalisco, and they won like 4-1 or something. But
and it was like during the day, right? It was like at 4:00 or some weird time, and yeah. And then the fans got upset, and they had a pitch invasion, and they had to stop the game early.
Good times, but.
No, but I'm asking a serious question. When was the last time Atlas won?
I can't remember, man.
Serious.
I think
who we need for this? We need to go to the Citadel.
Well, the last time they got to the final was in 97, 98 with you had. I think it was 97. Marquez was the captain, and they went to penalties, and Cardoso was the main guy, and La Volpe was the coach. So man, that's a long time ago.
Because I mean, I started really paying attention again, like around 2004, 2005, and I cannot remember Atlas even making the Liguilla, much less winning one. I'm sure we have Atlas fans that are listening. Maybe they can tune us into what's going on with that.
Well, that's going to make it more disgraceful once Chivas loses.
So you're saying Atlas is going to win, Chiquis? They're going to win the tie?
I think they're going to squeak by.
Joel?
I'm gonna leave it at a coin toss because I think that there's some gas left in the tank where they could, you know, I don't know, say, mejorar su puntería and put a couple of them in. Yeah, that pretty much it's there, man. It's somewhere in there. So if Almeida could tweak the team and get it out, yeah, they have that to beat Atlas. But if they continue of how they've been for the past month, maybe even longer, then that could be Oshi Road, and it would be a big fracaso for the team.
Hey, saludos to Metalero, who's on the chat. Fucking smack.
He has no room to
God
talk
bless
smack.
that. God bless that boy. That was good to have Metalero joining us.
He needs to be on this side, so we could talk Cruz Azul and what's going on over there with the Cementeros.
I think he's been a Cruz Azul fan for like 80 years or so.
Cruz Azul is like watching a, you know, like a really drunk girl at a wedding who's just having a massive freak out. You know, you can't watch it, but you can't turn away. You know, you're just mesmerized by this mass. You know, just this massive hot mess. Just having this explosion. It's so fascinating to watch. Such a proud team. Hopefully they'll get it going again.
Pobrecitos. It's enjoyable.
They did win their last game. They did beat León in the last game of the season.
Isn't next season when they're going to Azteca?
Yes.
So I mean, because they're saying the curse is be next to the cemetery. So man, maybe that would help.
I'll tell you what they need to do, Joel, is not only go back to the Azteca while they're built, but they should also go. I don't know if the stadium's there anymore, but go play in the old what was it, like 10 de diciembre stadium in Hidalgo, where they would play like once a year or so.
Cruz Azul, that's before my time, but Metalero will know. He probably had.
I bet you Metalero would wishes that he was born on the 10 de diciembre.
No, well, for the good news for Cruz Azul fans is that they're expected to spend a lot of money this coming season.
Don't they always?
No, like really open up the,
Get a
because this past season, what? How much did they pay for, cartucho quemado? Like what, 2 million, 3 million? I'm talking about, bring in some big names.
the next
See, I was right. There he goes, Metalero, to saying that he was born on 10 de diciembre. So, so the sorting hat didn't have to. It was a no-brainer for the. I feel like we should call we should call it the sorting sombrero to determine, the one that you wear to determine what team you're going to be a fan of. So Metalero was, since the day he was born, he had no choice. I told you when we had Jason, when we had Marquitos on a few weeks ago, and he was talking about all this Cruz Azul history stuff, and it was bringing up all these just awful, well, not awful, but like just memories of me just hating Cruz Azul when I was a little kid, because they used to win everything, and they used to beat my and they were just like they were the glamour team when they were like the Tigres of back then. They were just the absolute flavor of the month, just this unbelievably popular team. God, I wish I could remember I know they had one name. Miguel Marin and Wendy Mendizabal, and I can't remember if Calimán Guzman was if he'd already retired by that point or not. But they had just a really good team. They were. I just hated them. It was weird. It was like a repressed memory that just came rushing back when we had Marquitos on. We should have Marquitos on again. Maybe Marquitos and Metalero can have a Cementero versus Cementero segment.
Which failure was the greatest failure?
Yeah, exactly. Like we would have Johnny Rico and Ronnie talk about which refs cost America games. Contest to see who can name the referee because they always seem to know the ref. Like Ronnie's like, yeah, and then that ref.
Which ref robbed me most?
Fulano de Tal, yeah, robbed America in the 2003 semifinal second. Don't y'all remember?
Well, we're on that subject. I'm gonna say it, and this was a Chivista. I think that meme, you have to put it to sleep, man. The refs help America meme. Because, if they were gonna help them, we're talking about a team that they needed 1 point out of 9 just to qualify. And they lost all 3 games, and 2 of them were at home. So if they are getting help, the refs are doing a bad job there, John.
I've never thought that the refs don't help them or hurt them any more than any other team. That's how I've always felt about. But you're right though. They had all they had to do was get that 1 point, and then they were in, and then Morelia knocked them out with the.
Which must suck for La Volpe because he was in that situation when you went to Argentina with Boca Juniors. And the championship
but that was
pretty
when
much
he won
sealed.
the championship. Yeah, he had to win just 1 game in the last 3, and he didn't do it.
No, I mean, but to go to that same scenario again, you would think he would have learned this lesson. But he recently said he doesn't want to coach anymore.
He said he wants to do the younger division, which I'm frankly very, very cool with. If that's what he wants to do, I got no problem with that. I think he'd be terrific at it.
Yeah, they could give him under 23 or under 20.
You know what I would love for La Volpe if he went and took that over for the national team, the youth system, if he oversaw it.
Yeah, and look at the amount of games that the youth teams play. For the recent under 17, they just won. They qualified to the World Cup and they won the CONCACAF qualifier, which is the third straight time that they win it in a row. And the coach, I forget his name, but he was talking about they played about 60 international games.
Yeah, I mean it's a perfect job for him because there's no massive media exposure. Although he's been, at least in his tenure at America, he was, very calm. Other than where he baited the Cruz Azul coach into a little pissing match that was the Clásico. I won't call it the Clásico Joven. I know you get mad at that, so I'll call it the Clásico Capitalino.
That sounds better.
El Clásico del Sur. Anyway, and then he gets to do what he loves to do, which is coach. And let's be honest, as far as schools of soccer that permeate or in Liga MX, the La Volpismo is certainly one of the most influential. So, it wouldn't be awful if the kids learn to play that, that style, which obviously is what they would probably do. It would be a good fit, I think.
Yeah, he could do something similar to what Potro did, where he took, he had the squad since the under 15, and he took him all the way to the under 23.
Right. Yeah, but I'm saying take over. I'm saying take the whole thing over and look at all the U's.
Oh.
I'm saying
I don't know.
be ahead of the U program. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know about that one, John.
All right, so I'm the president of FMF, and I'm about to make the hire. So talk me out of it.
It's just I just feel it has to be. No, I have no argument for that. It's just a gut feeling.
Oh, really? That is hilarious. It's just
So hey, sometimes you have to trust your gut instincts, John.
really.
Yes, sir.
And you are my favorite counsel. So if you're saying, well, if your gut's telling you no, then what
No,
can I
I
do?
mean because you have to see just overall. I mean, I guess it's worth a try. You could give them a 4-year cycle and see how that's going. So you can always do that.
But I mean, Sarah, I mean, can you think of any other coach in Mexico that would be better suited to run a U system, other than your boy, of course?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I know he likes working with youth, but aside from Atlas, I mean, what other team did you really like count on so
That's the
many
thing,
youth
though.
players?
That's what makes it so important. Is that he finds players.
I think his ego wouldn't allow him to work in those divisions where he's not getting.
I don't think he gives a crap about that stuff anymore.
Maybe
I mean, he's a changed guy.
with age, he's actually matured. You're saying?
Yeah, and I mean, if and in the youth system, I mean, seriously, the result really can't be like the most important thing. I mean, it's developing the players, right? I mean, and that's what he does best. At least in this portion of his career.
So if he discovers the gems and they go on to play Liga MX and do well, it'll be, hey, that's La Volpe.
They say, ese país lo hice yo.
Yeah, it'll be the base of the selection.
I would say, ese país yo lo formé. No, I do think it would be and especially now with Jimmy Bathsalt's moving to him, and then they got rid of the guy that blew up the team. Did you notice that, Joel?
Yeah, I knew. Pepe Romano was on his way out.
Yeah, the guy that blew up the team and blamed it on Peláez. What was his name again?
Pepe Romano.
Yeah, that guy. He's on his way out too. So now it's going to be Santiago Baños and Piojo. How's that gonna work out?
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see how the team does. Especially like they created this. The way I see it, they created like a negative environment because they have all these really high expectations, which is gonna be a big.
Well, the bigger question is, why on earth would you go from being basically the general manager of the national team to assuming the same role for a club team? What is going on for that move to happen? Because you got to get a blessing from the same guy to be in both. So
Does he have to quit the national team?
yes, he's leaving the national team.
So he's no longer Ostorio's Uber driver.
Exactly. He's no longer a trophy.
What's messed
Yeah, that was like a dumb move from FMF where you put a guy who was in charge of placing orange cones, and he's above the coach, the manager, and he's not that knowledgeable, and you know what I mean?
Well, I guess that's my question. Is do you think that that Jimmy Bathsalz is being Santiago Baños is being forced out?
Not forced out, but I mean he's just kind kind of
Dude,
like
why else would he go from running the national team to going to America?
I mean, but it's. I mean, wouldn't you take it though? I mean, you're assistant coach one day, right?
Right.
And
You're the head of the
then,
national team the next day.
and yeah, and the next day they promote you. So I mean, the company doing that is they're paying you nicely, so they demote you, but you're still getting paid. That guy's almost like Big Head. I don't know if you guys see Silicon Valley.
Yes.
He's like Big Head. He's just there and he's getting all this promotion and all this money. He's not really doing anything.
Fortune and glory.
That is
He's just
hilarious.
wondering.
Fortune and glory. From Indiana Jones.
Right. Big head. You are absolutely right.
What I think is messed up is how everyone's talking right now how Piojo is going to be going to America. And it just makes Cholos seem like a redheaded stepchild. You know, like Piojo's with them right now, but his real first love.
No. I'm gonna stop you there, Al. He had. I think that was like negotiated since way back. Like I think he had a clause or his contract.
I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop you both.
Wait. Well, let me finish because
Well,
they had even the dude from Jorge Ramos. He had even said that this was after the national team when they booted out Piojo, and the team that offering him a job was Cruz Azul. So the news that had leaked was that Televisa told him, don't go to Cruz Azul, take the job at Cholos, and we'll have an opening for you soon enough. Either the national team or back at America.
that's exactly my point. America is the consolation prize for both of them.
Oh,
Well, definitely for Piojo. Because they're like, hey, you know what? This guy's that looks like he's going to stick around for the rest of the year, so we'll just let you have America instead.
Okay, so he can't stay with Cholos? Is what you're saying? He can't stay there?
He can. I mean, where would you go, Chiquis?
If Cholos wins, I would stay.
Really?
Because I would go for another one. But I would never go with America. And with their recent management performances and dealings that they've done, they're just a disgrace. But
Wow.
I understand he's he has love for the club and everything. So
Joel, would you jump to America from Cholos, given the opportunity, even if you lead him to a championship? Or are you like Chiquis? Are you loyal and you'll stick around?
wait. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the first part?
So if you're coaching Cholos, right? You lead them to a championship. America comes calling. Where are you going?
Well, I mean, it's a bit unfair question. I'm a Chivista. I would stay at Cholos, but I do feel that at Cholos he could do his own thing. That America, it's the whole too many Chiefs, not enough Indian syndrome. Eventually, you're gonna have other people coming in and telling you who to get or who to play, and
True,
you
but
know,
let's not also underestimate how much of a.
yeah, but he said,
you-
what's the sound clip that he said? No soy un títere. He said it. No one tells Piojo what to do.
yeah, and I was thinking about this like the other day. because I think this is one of the things that hurts Mexican coaches, not playing in a Copa Libertadores, because that's also a vitrina for coaches, you know, and for Mexican teams not taking that tournament serious, and also the way the Mexican league is structured. So obviously, other leagues don't see our format as competitive. So I feel like we miss out on that tournament.
It'll more than likely be back within the next couple of years, I think, when the
Yeah, but also is taking it serious. You know what I mean, John?
oh no,
Because a lot of
I know
times
what you
teams would send their bench, or they'll send the youth teams.
the last two teams that had the run, obviously Tigres went to the final, so they obviously took it seriously. I mean, to the point where they brought. I mean, you're allowed to bring in three refuerzos. One of them was Gignac, so they obviously took it very seriously. And then when Pumas played a couple years ago, they made it. Did they make it to the semis or to the quarters? And then they lost in penalties to make it to the semis. They also took it very, very seriously. So I think the trend was started to lean that way more, Joel. I think the teams were starting to understand what an opportunity it was to play in that tournament. And
Yeah.
and then they
So-
got taken away. So
Yeah, I don't think just that's hurting us, not valuing the tournament. Like that. Not just the coaches, but also like players, where it's a vitrina,
sure.
and that's why like we could have player like Chucky. If Pachuca was playing Libertadores and Chucky was doing what he does at that level, he would be more highly rated.
Right, or at least the price tag that they've put on him would be a little more justified.
Yeah, so I mean, doing it against León and Puebla and Chiapas, that's not gonna convince the foreign teams.
What about Chavlas?
That's it.
So we never answered our question. Does Chivas advance? Yes or no?
Tengo miedo.
Exactly.
Oh man, you know what, John? I'm gonna say they do.
Well, you have no choice but to say they do.
No, what I saw today, they were more on the attack than Atlas.
Okay, so your heart says Chivas. What does your head say Chivas too? Is your whole body in
No.
lockstep with your heart, or is there some
No,
doubt?
it's the same. I just think if they improve their punteria, they could go through.
Do you drink more when Chivas wins or loses?
It's the same, man. I've been in this Chihuahua train for a long time. It's made me miserable, John. Those 10-year comments. Those 10-year comments are you. I came into Chivas and Chivas was the most winning team, the most legendary, and since I came
Right.
in, I get to
And
see.
who won your title when you first came in? Who got you the title?
It's Tuca, El Tucanazo.
Okay.
No, but since being that Chiva fans from that time, now I've seen Toluca have dominant, win a couple titles and be back.
Pachuca was dominant.
Pachuca
Toluca was dominant.
yeah, and Pumas, of course, they did the back-to-back. They going so and then for Chivas it was just 10-year comments. One championship every 10 years. If it wasn't for Copa MX, we would still be dry. Um, nothing at the CONCACAF level, and we did have those two really good Copa Libertadores, but nothing really came out of it. So it's been pretty disappointing for like 20 plus years, John.
20 years of misery.
Yeah, man, that's.
No, ni merda.
And
That's like you had that one little kid who you thought you had your son and you thought they were going to
No
make, you thought they were going to make something with their lives, and now that they're, they live in the basement and just get drunk.
My advice to you: start drinking heavily.
I meant to play that for Dan today, and I totally forgot. That would have been a good one. I had to start writing stuff down. All right. Well, I also believe that that Chivas is going to win and advance. So I can't see Atlas making it past. I just can't, because I know Atlas too well. I've seen it too many times. So,
yeah, they're the Cruz Azul.
you know what we should do if for some
They're the
fluky
real
reason,
Cruz Azul. Yeah.
yes, they are. If for some fluky reason, which of course now means it's going to happen, if Atlas does win, we should have a mystery, because I don't think Atlas fans really want to identify themselves as Atlas fans just yet. So we'll have a mystery Atlas fan on with us next week.
To me, John, Atlas is the Bane to Cruz Azul's Batman from the movie, when Batman tries to turn off the lights so he could have a fighting chance, and Bane's like, "You just adopted this, but I was born in it."
Right. Absolutely. Maybe that's how Carlos Fierro should come out and play. Well, he should wear the little Bane mask while he's playing.
Yeah, you know what would be a money final? Tigres, I don't know if it's called Tigres and Chivas.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So, okay, so we say well, yeah, if Cholos, we said Cholos, Chivas, and then of course Santos and Toluca and Tigres. So that means it would make it Tigres, Cholos, and then Chivas, Toluca would be the semifinals. And if Monterrey for whatever reason pulls it out, then it will be Cholos, Chivas. I'm sorry, no, because is Chivas 3 or 6? They're 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they would still play.
It's all goat dreams, though. It's all goat dreams. Metal. I agree with Metal. He says that if Atlas parks the bus, U.S. isn't going to go through. That's pretty much like U.S. national team. Mexico crosses by crossing lanes. U.S. with the crosses. Atlas parks the bus.
The chatter, Joel, is not very Chivas positive. They all seem to think that Chivas is gonna crash out.
Yeah, well, I don't blame them. I mean, I don't blame them. I said it earlier. Chivas is about a month without being able to score a goal in the run of play. Their one goal came on a penalty kick, dubious one at that. So, count that with their string of injuries, and yeah, that's a good recipe for.
You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like it's time for Chivas to wake up. I mean, it's again, and that's the other thing is like they have the tonic right in front of them, which is Atlas. I mean, let's face it, that's they couldn't have asked for a better team to get things going against. So that, I mean, and that's why I think it's going to happen. But again, if it doesn't, we will have a closet Atlas fan on with us next week. And
if Atlas would have gotten that, because if Atlas would have gotten that second goal, then I would have just, at that point, you could turn off the lights. But they seem to have settled for defending that 1-goal lead.
So the first time America won a title in the Facebook era, my timeline just lit up yellow. I mean, I was like, I had no idea. I had so many, Facebook friends that were Americanistas. They just, because they never talked about it. All of a sudden, all of a sudden, hey, look what we just won. I've never seen that with Atlas. In the Facebook era, no one gets excited when Atlas wins. At least, not on my timeline. Joel, do you have any Rojinegro fans that you can just relentlessly abuse after games like this there in LA?
No, never met one.
You've never met a Rojinegro like ever in LA? They don't exist.
Nope. I mean, if they are, they don't admit it. You know how when the team wins or they have a really good, you start seeing jerseys everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even see those. I don't even see.
Well, I mean, the thing is Atlas has never won, so no, like how on earth would you ever celebrate them winning?
I have to go back to '97 when I saw a couple jerseys. That's when they had that pretty decent Libertadores run. They were playing pretty good, and they made the final. But man, that's
I think the sorting sombrero.
20 years ago.
Put Atlas on one of our fellow Liga MX English guys.
Oh yeah, but I don't know if they want to be identified as.
Yeah.
They work on the other side of that.
Well, it was funny because I was watching Univision. I think it was the Santos game, the second half, and then, like toward the end of it, they asked Perro. They ask him, who's going to win the tie, and he gives them. And the last one they ask him is Chivas Atlas. He's like, what are you doing to me? Of course, I'm going to say Atlas. It was pretty funny. So there's nothing wrong with being identified. I mean, I'm a Puma fan through and through. I mean, I'm not gonna try and hide that. I know you're a Chivista, Joel. You're a Chivista and a Chapista.
Yes, sir.
So
I am.
That would make you a Chichapista. Chiquis is a Pumas fan and a Tigres fan and any other cat that. Whatever remaining cats are in, he'll happily root for them.
Chavos, I have to get going. I'm gonna call it a night right here.
Well, it's probably a good time for us to end the show as well. It's been a lot of fun. Nice. Thanks to everyone on the chat as well. Oh, see, this is why we like that. So Atlas back in the mid '80s was an awesome team. So it's been 30 years. Since Atlas was good, 30 years. Think about that. Even Cruz Azul has been better than that in the 30 years. That's not saying much, but there you have it. Chiquis, a pleasure.
Yeah, man, it's been fun. Here's a party. Here's an ending clip.
They couldn't have said any better myself. And again, we do apologize for starting late. That was an unforeseen operator error on my part, and that I do apologize for. We'll try and get it going at 9:30 sharp, like we plan every week on Thursdays. So, do apologize for that, folks. But again, thank you guys for joining us. We are the CantinaMX Podcast. You can listen to us live every Thursdays at 9:30 Central on YouTube, or download this podcast and our previous editions from your iPhone or Google Play. Thank you very much. We'll talk to y'all later.